All right, hot topic in Washington, infrastructure. So, joining us now, former Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao knows a thing or two about infrastructure. So you and I worked on infrastructure for quite some time in our government days.
Yes.
Looking at this bill and looking at the administration, pluses, minuses, what you think?
Well, I think, being the former Secretary of Transportation, I am always in favor of greater investments in our infrastructure, which helps to make our country more competitive. There are some good things in it. For example, the one federal decision, which you and I had worked on so hard, that basically reduces the regulatory permitting process down from currently about 7 to 17 years in building a new road or a new bridge, down to hopefully about 2 years. So we need also further permitting processes to ensure that more construction can occur.
May I just ask, I don't, heaven forbid, I want to cut in, but the one federal decision, was that for everything or just for the highway part?
No, that should be for everything.
Oh,
but
okay.
all of these agencies,
that's good.
The Army Corps of Engineers, all these different agencies that are involved in a construction project, a complex construction project, they should be working together and coordinating right at the outset. What we're seeing, for example, is a lot of permitting go on, but the similar studies are done sequentially when they can be done, obviously, simultaneously. We have duplicative studies that are going on. All of that can be streamlined. I also think, in terms of what is missing, I think there are two major things that we used to work on that's missing, and I think that is the Space Council. Do you remember all the work we did in the commercial space area?
I think you did more than I was on the council.
Well, the Vice President did a great job.
Yes, he did.
Vice President did a great job. So I think that's kind of missing. And then also public-private partnerships. If you recall, there was a great deal of distrust about the private sector from the other side as to whether they can be trusted or not. So public-private partnerships were always a hard sell.
Is that in this bill, public-private?
No, I
really
think it's
not.
going to be much, much less. So for the private sector interests, endowment funds, pension funds that are interested in investing in public infrastructure, they're going to find less opportunity to do so than when under our bill.
Can you walk us through? Look, I don't want to, pick on anybody for instance, but look, this Mayor Pete Buttigieg, Transportation Secretary, he's big press conference. He's talking about tearing down certain roads and bridges and underpasses because they're racist. I don't understand it.
Well, a lot of the transportation infrastructure is constructed on land that is most cheap. The cheapest land. And many times they're located in poorer neighborhoods. And so there's some liberal ideology now that somehow these overpasses are being built that split communities. I think at this point we really need infrastructure. So rather than deconstructing anything, let's build anew, or let's repair what was already there.
Yeah.
So that is the best way,
because
because
supposed to be the thrust of the policy. Build, you're right, repair.
Well, I think this administration is going to be very concerned about social equity, as you have talked about, and also obviously climate change. And I think there is certainly a bias toward building more roads, but that's always the debate. Urban America versus rural America, highways versus transit. This bill obviously reflects.
But you liked roads.
Yes, I think most people do.
No, I don't think Mr. Buttigieg likes roads.
I think, yes. So they have emphasized transit.
Yeah.
And there's a great deal of money given to transit. And also Amtrak is going to get $66 billion.
What are they going to do with that?
Well, I think they're going to probably work on their capital expenditure backlog and repair work, maintenance. But
$65 billion for broadband?
Currently, their budget is only about $2 billion.
Last one. Trucking. Part of the transportation nexus. What's wrong with the trucking industry? I'm reading stuff from the truckers themselves. They're 50,000 short, 80,000 short.
They're about 80,000 short.
And it's key to the supply chain problem.
Well, it's a problem because now workers are in the driver's seat. So they have greater preference as to what they want to go. It's a workers' market. So many of them don't want to be away from home for days on end, which is what truckers have to put up with.
Can we make the age down to 18?
I think we can do that. We can also have other kinds of what's called, allow greater number of military pilots,
right.
I mean, military drivers who have driven in the military, perhaps who are under the age of 22, but they can't get their commercial licenses. These are pilot programs which we had worked on when we were in office, and so there are ways to expand the supply.
Although I am in favor of vaccines and have gotten 3 myself, I'm reading how the vaccine mandate is keeping people out of trucks. They're keeping people out of a lot of businesses.
Well, you know, they're a pretty independent bunch, and they want to live life the way they want to.
Yep.
And so the vaccine has seen an impact on reducing the supply of workers, precisely at a time when we need more workers to come back into the workforce, because the labor participation rate, as you well know, is 61.6%, very, very low. You know, when I was in office as Secretary of Labor, the labor unemployment participation rate was about 66.4%, and it peaked at 67.7%. So over 157 million worker, population, that's a lot of workers who are not working.
You know my response. Save America, kill the bill. Elaine Chao, a dear old friend, former Secretary of Transportation, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.